Okay, if you're watching this video, I imagine you've already seen my video talking about why I think Junko is a bad antagonist, but if you haven't, I'll leave it linked below. Spoiler alert, to be honest, it's not a great video. There's not really any editing, it's just kind of me talking with bad quality mic for like 15 minutes. Yeah, it's not the best video in the world, but I will link it below anyway. And that is my most popular video of all time, unfortunately. Yeah, a video of me being a hateful little fuck is the most popular video on this YouTube channel and always will be. No, I fucking hope not. However, one thing that was missing from that video is, even though I told you all the reasons why I don't think Junko is a good villain, definitely not a good mastermind, I didn't really tell you what I think would improve her. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now, so let's go. Number 1, more presence. She just needs to be there more, okay? We just have no reason to care about her because she shows up at the very fucking end of the game and we'd never even met her before that, so there is no reason to despair at her betrayal or even just her existence in general. We have no reason to care for the fact that we never saw her once. This game rants on about despair so much and tries to make you despair beyond belief in Trial 6, and while it succeeds in some areas, it doesn't in others, because what would make this so much more powerful is if we knew Junko beforehand, but we didn't even meet her. We met her sister pretending to be her, and even then she died in less than 2 hours. You see, that's the problem. For a mastermind, I expected something big, something impactful, something that was going to get your emotions going, something that you didn't see coming, rather than just a character who you didn't even technically know existed up until now. Well, no, we knew she existed, we just never met her in her real form, which is the same kind of problem, really. Fact is, we never fucking met Junko once, so we have no reason to feel betrayed, even though the characters do once they realise, you know, they had memories with her before, but because in the context of the killing game itself, we never saw her once, no one has any reason to give a fuck about her. I know I sure didn't when I played the game. I wasn't feeling despair from anything to do with Junko, I was only feeling despair from the things she was telling me. And even then, it would have been way more intense if it was a character I actually gave a shit about in the first place. Number 2, find structurally sound ways to deliver aspects of her past, because these are completely omitted from Trigger Happy Havoc, okay? I don't even know if these elements were considered or decided while this game was being written. I'm going to assume they weren't, because if they were, they would have probably delivered them in this game. But I don't know, I wonder if, you know, when they wrote Danganronpa 0, which details a lot of Junko's past, they were thinking, gee, this character's not got a lot of meat to her. Let's give her some of that. Let's give her some of that in a novel. You know, in a medium that has nothing to do with where the main things of the franchise are. Yeah, let's put it in that. Because that's a fucking good idea, isn't it? This franchise is full of those. I'm sorry, I don't have anything against the existence of a Danganronpa novel, but Danganronpa 0, as far as I know, is treated as mainline, but it's a fucking book. Why is a book a fucking mainline entry in what is pretty much 80% a visual novel franchise? And even then, like, Danganronpa 3 is an anime, but it's still visual. A book is completely fucking different from everything else in the series. It's weird, okay? If it was a spin-off, then fair enough, but it's treated as mainline. It has vital information about some of these characters that we never got to see in the actual game, which is just kind of ridiculous in my opinion, but I think all that stuff should have been included in this game, because then it would have at least given Junko some meat for us to actually grasp. I don't know much about Danganronpa 0, but from what I understand, it details a lot about how Junko came to be. She has another self called Ryoko, who I believe is a protagonist, and she is also the ultimate analyst, a talent that Junko herself then retains. I don't know if she kind of combines with that other self. I imagine she does. I imagine that's what actually happens there. But even then, even if that wasn't the case, that's still vital information, because that is another self of Junko, an extension of Junko, and that's how she's able to predict everything, which is why life is so unbearably boring to her, but we don't find that out in Danganronpa 1, so it just feels shallow. You'd give us more meat, more depth to the character if you told us this information in Trigger Happy Havoc, but you don't for some fucking reason. Because that's the thing, ultimately Junko Enoshima, when you consider everything put together, she isn't a bad character. In fact, there are very few bad characters in Danganronpa when you consider everything, and I'm talking free time events and stuff as well, but free time events are a whole other issue that I'm going to discuss in a separate video, which, you know, kind of links to the formula of the series as a whole. But Junko, when you consider everything, isn't a bad character at all. It's just the way she's handled in the first game, and even the second game, and the fucking anime, that all the shit that makes her a good character, that makes her deep and have complexities, is hidden in a novel that isn't localized. Which, yeah, localization isn't the problem here, but the fact of the matter is, it's in a completely separate media that most people over here don't even fucking know about. So I have to read a novel in a visual novel franchise to actually get the meat of this character. Why? Okay, next. Now this is more of a general point, but I am going to talk about one thing that makes me feel this way. I just find it very hard to take Junko as a character seriously. Like, I'm not saying she needs to be incredibly mortifying and scary the entire time, but I do find it very hard to feel any kind of emotion towards her besides getting fucking annoyed by the way she's been handled. Look, I know that getting mad at a Danganronpa character for being a little bit absurd and ridiculous is like going into a kitchen and complaining that you find a fork, but I just think that things could have been better here, and the point that I'm going to make is about the persona switching, okay? It's so often and common, and I know why they do it, okay? I know why it's done. It's because Junko gets bored of herself so quickly. I get why it's there, but it just comes off as, I don't know, kind of stupid and doesn't really work, or it doesn't resonate with me very well, to be honest. It's hard to take Junko seriously when halfway through a conversation, she just all of a sudden switches personas like 3 times. She goes from a fancy British lady to a vulgar lady to her normal self. I don't fucking know. It's just all over the place, and that's the problem. I feel like it would be so much more interesting if these persona switches were more deliberate or intentional, if you know what I'm trying to say. So it actually had a reason for happening. Or even if they don't want to do that, just make it less so that I can actually take what she's saying seriously. Because, I don't know, like I said, it's like complaining that there's a fork in a kitchen for a Danganronpa character to be a little bit ridiculous. But as the main villain of the game, I just wished it was easier to kind of grasp the substance of what was coming out of her mouth, but it's not as easy when she's just changing persona every 2 minutes. Okay, final thing, and this kind of links in with the first point I made. I wish we got more information about her relationship with Mukuro, because that whole thing was just wasted potential, and to be honest, Mukuro as a character could benefit greatly from this as well. This isn't just a suggestion for how Junko could have been improved, but how the Despair sisters as a duo could have been improved, because as a concept, conceptually, they should have been really interesting and frightening characters, but I can't say I feel that way towards them more than I just feel like there was some missed potential there. Because I feel like if they expanded on the relationship between her and Mukuro, we could get a deeper insight into the way Junko thinks, and even the way Mukuro thinks, which would add an extra level of depth and give me more of a reason to care about what's coming out of her mouth. If we have that other cast member who's close to her, who we see more of these characters connecting with each other, then her betrayal would become even worse because we have that emotional value. But because that emotional value isn't there, we don't give a single shit, and that's the problem. Okay, it's time to wrap up this video. Basically, to put it simply, I just wish Junko was more complex and had more emotional value, because if you're going to write a character who is essentially the embodiment of despair and you want me to feel her despair, then you really have to give me something of depth to make me feel that despair. I can't feel despair if there was never hope in the first place, and if some random woman who we hadn't even technically met at that point just comes out and starts spewing all this shit and not really making a hell of a lot of sense, I'm not going to feel despair, I'm just going to feel annoyed and confused. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, folks. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe down below, and get involved in the conversation down below in the comments. You guys know I'm very active down there, so please do get involved. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out. Okay guys, the rest of the commentary was recorded this morning. I'm adding this on in the evening, because now I have channel memberships. Thank you very much to Ella for being a channel member. If you want to join the channel, please by all means do so. It'll support the channel, and it'll mean a hell of a lot to me, and depending on the tier, you'll get this too. Thank you.